Brought to you by Lister Pros TV, streaming from Tempe, Arizona. And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Thank you for joining the NextView Podcast. We have a great guest in today. I know a lot of you guys are really excited about our guest, and I'll get to introducing her in just a few minutes. First of all, I just want to tell you thanks so much for tuning in every week. If there's anything me or my team can do to assist you with your real estate needs, please give us a phone call. I just want to say thank you to our sponsors, Justin Oliver and Ryan Whalen from the Oliver Whalen team. If you guys are looking to refinance a mortgage, if you're looking to apply for a new home loan, contact Justin and Ryan's team. They'll take great care of you. Even if you just want information to figure out where you're at, they're a phenomenal team to work with. One thing that they do have that a lot of lenders do not have is in-house credit repair. So if you do have some things and you're looking to increase your credit so that you have a better interest rate, give them a call and they can help you guys with that at no additional charge. So I know a lot of credit repair services will call and they'll try to get you to pay fees. So contact Justin and Ryan. Also, Yvonne Hunter with Platinum Home Warranty. If you're thinking about adding a new home warranty to your property, or if you have one that's expiring, or if you have a rental property you'd like to put one on, give Yvonne a call and she can help you with your home warranty needs. And special thanks to Jeremy Eaton with Security Title. We typically work with Elva Palmer for all of our escrows. They're a great company, so when you're doing your refinancing or you're purchasing a new home, be sure to give them a call. So, and again, the NextView Home Professionals team, we'd love to help you guys out. Remember that we do speak English and we also speak Spanish, so we can help you with all of your home purchase and selling needs in both English and Spanish. All right, without further ado, I know everybody's excited. I want to introduce our guest this week. Her name, and it's in appreciation of Valentine's Day. So her name is Roseann Higgins. Welcome, Roseann.
Thank you so much, Tia.
You're welcome. Roseann is with SPIES, Single Professional Introductions for the Especially Selective. Selective, thank you. Why do I always say single?
They're single.
So Roseann is celebrating her 25-year anniversary in business.
Yes.
And she was nominated, or actually voted, for 2019 Arizona Foothills Magazine as Matchmaker of the Year, right?
Best Matchmaker. We won thanks
awesome.
to, I don't know how many thousands of votes we got, but I'm appreciative of every single vote we got every day.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
When we go, I want to talk a little bit more about that a little bit later.
Thank you.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your business.
Okay, a little bit. How much do you want to know?
Tell us about yourself first, because I know we're going to dig really deep into your business.
Okay. This is interesting. At a breakfast, I saw Frank Shankowski. He's the founder of Make-A-Wish at a breakfast this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about an incredible. They're making a movie off of Make-A-Wish. The story of his life from, I think he said 1950 to 1980.
Wow.
Fascinating story. But somebody was asking me about where I was from, and he mentioned Kewanee, Illinois. I was born in Kewanee, adopted out of Peoria, and grew up in Lincoln, Illinois, and it's a small town.
Wow.
15,000 people. And if you ever drive on Route 66 through Lincoln, Illinois,
mm-hmm.
you stop anywhere. I'm related to every Higgins and every Fitzpatrick in Lincoln, Illinois.
Wow.
And they will help you out.
Is that where you're from?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I went to high school in Arizona, and because my dad had arthritis, we came here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to modeling school and decided to join the Navy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you went to modeling school.
Mm-hmm.
Did modeling school convince you to join the Navy?
No, somebody said I could travel the world. And in modeling school, they said if I wanted to be a model, I'd have to starve myself for the rest of my life. Ooh. And when you're 18, that seems like a very long time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that doesn't sound as fun as being near the beach and defending our country and
right.
getting college. Because I ended up going to GWU
mm-hmm.
and having a congressional internship at the House Armed Services Committee. And I've just been blessed. I got to live in Spain. That was my big wish. They said they couldn't guarantee it, but I got to live in Spain for 3 years on the ocean.
How exciting. Well, first of all, thank you so much for your service in the Navy.
Thank everyone.
Wow.
This is the best country, and I'm proud to serve it.
How long were you in the Navy?
10 years full-time, 6.5 in the active reserve. Every summer during college, I'd get an active duty assignment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And so how long after you served, were you in the reserves?
I was in the reserve 6.5.
Okay.
And so I would go active duty every summer in college, and then there was some overlap when I started the company because I'm not like 80. So
right.
Yeah.
And so, and something led you into matchmaking. Tell us about that.
Well, I definitely heard the best lines, pickup lines from sailors, when you have 6,000 guys descending on a port, and they needed. What they needed was more women in our towns. But I learned to be very comfortable talking with men. Okay. And I've never said that in an interview before. I never really thought about it. You know, the things you take for granted.
Yeah.
And one guy at a networking event at the Plaza Club, used to be a very she high-end networking organization on the top floor of an office building downtown. He said, Roseann, I want to meet the women you're meeting. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he says, those 2 gorgeous girls over there, you know, I'd pay you to meet them. And I'm like, dude, you know, why don't you just walk over? He says, it doesn't work like that. And an Entrepreneur of the Year, Edvard Richards, he had mentored me. He had owned bestseller audiobooks before Amazon existed. He was ahead of his time. And he said, why don't you create something nobody else is doing? So I did a ton of research. I had a focus group of super eligible guys get together and tell me, what do you want? What do you want to know about a girl? And the guy said, pictures, Roseann. We have to see recent full-length pictures. And that's still true.
Wow.
But the girls want to see the same thing if they're doing the dating in the blind, like online dating is. And then the girls said, Roseann, one girl said, I asked 3 girlfriends, and they said they'd never join a service. And this is pre-Google and pre-Match.com.
Yeah.
This was 976 dating era. And I thought, what if one person would hire me who could afford me? And the person that they really would love to date among all others is somebody I could go out and find, see if she was a nice girl on the inside besides being hot on the outside.
Yeah.
And because you can find the girls that are evil without any help.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the guys that are trouble and narcissistic and, you know, all that on your own. So what if I could find a girl and she was everything? What if I could introduce them? So I created Romance Headhunting in 1994.
Was that the name of the company at that time?
No, it was always called SPIES.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah, because we're on the lookout for the love of your life.
That's how you came
We're
up with
SPIES.
the name?
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
So literally just being comfortable talking to people and people noticing that you just have a natural gift of communicating with others.
I did a ton of research. Thank you. I learned that at the time there were 738,000 single, widowed, and divorced men and women in Maricopa County. And now we're the 5th largest city and we have over 1 million. And it's ridiculously hard to find people you want to go on second dates with. And you don't have second thoughts about it, dating after 3 months, and you find out things you wish you would have known a little bit sooner, and you part company, and then you do it again and again and again, and you're still single.
Yeah, that sounds pretty familiar. So what would be the difference between using a matchmaker service versus using a dating app? Because I know a lot of people are probably wondering that same question.
Well, I haven't done the dating apps, but a beautiful girl I know said she tried it. She was doing an article about it, and she said in the end she was meeting guys that had anger issues, and I don't know why. Maybe it's a little tough on the ego, I think.
Okay.
For some. I would say it's got possibilities, though. I mean, it's more of a mass market, but sitting home and doing nothing doesn't serve you. If the differences are, when you go out on a date, I set you up. I just had a guy fly into Vancouver, British Columbia to go on a first date with a girl. And I met her down in Scottsdale. She was visiting with her parents, and she's gorgeous and speaks French. And this guy also lives in Canada and has a place in Scottsdale.
Okay.
And I knew he needed a non-type A girl. I tend to meet girls that really have their act together and aren't looking for a guy to pay their way like most of the girls that the guys that have a lot of money are meeting. One of my guys told me, everybody uses me. And I'm like, then this will be a switch for you. To meet a girl who's actually got her act together and wants you for you. Yeah. So he flew into town, and I always tell people that it's never too late to text me how your date went. So at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning even, I get texts, and hers came in at 1:20, and I was still up, and I'm like, so, because he flew in, and it's an hour earlier there. So I'm like going, I texted them at 10 o'clock, and I'm like, okay, what time is that really? And it was 9 o'clock there, so it was maybe too early to think that their first date would be over, and they didn't call and they didn't text, and I'm like, how'd it go? So 1:30 in the morning, she's telling me, he's amazing, Roseann. And I'm like, no kidding. Yeah, and he is. And they had the most awesome weekend. He's flying there next weekend for their second date.
Okay.
They're planning their third date in Scottsdale in March.
So now I'm extra curious. So let's say I'm a woman, so I'm going to play it from a woman's perspective. If I come up to you and I say, Roseann, I just match me with somebody, what do you say to me?
You need to be a little bit more specific.
Okay. So what do you want? What questions would you ask them?
I would ask a lot of things. First, the girls have to pass the visual test for a guy.
Okay.
And the girls want to know too. I mean, I was just talking to your guest in the studio, and she's 5'2", and how tall does a guy have to be? And was it 6 foot? I think was the minimum requirement. So I have questions, and it's crazy how many women give me that answer, and it just drives me nuts because there are some awesome guys, and I tell anybody that calls me, it's harder below 5'10", and I get the blowback, not him. So it takes a real confident man. And to answer your question, what do I need to know about you? I want to know that you are really good with yourself. I want to know how you're going to be inside of a relationship.
Yeah.
I want to know that you're a good person and see how nice you are to me and how nice you are to the people that are working with you here in the studio.
Yeah.
And I want to know how you get along with your family. Not that it's the be-all, end-all if you have a bad relationship with them, but a good relationship helps because you're marrying every aspect of you when you get together. And I've only had 5 divorces in 25 years. Wow. So I have a 96% chance if you marry through me, you're going to live happily ever after.
There you go.
So I'm looking out for your evil side. I'm looking, not that you have one.
No, I know.
But if you were just somebody I randomly met, you're beautiful.
Yeah.
And I love your hair.
Thank you.
And I love your style. I love that you've got your act together, that you care about the world, that you're using this show to help more people find love. I want to know what you want in a man. How tall does he have to be? What's his age range? How tall are you? What are the qualities? If your friends could describe you, or if you wanted to tell me so I could tell him about you, what would you want him to know about you? So he could determine, is this the girl for me? So I can determine, is this the girl for him first?
So because you meet a lot of people at events and different things like that. So for example, if you met a woman and that's what she said to you, like the question I just asked, would you have that conversation
I wouldn't go into that kind of detail.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
All right, so if you just look good, that's the first test.
Yeah.
You look good, slender waistline, that is unfortunately universally appealing. However, I want everybody listening to your show, God made all of us, and he made somebody for each of us, and he didn't pick just one of us not to get love. So he picked you to get love, if you're listening. If somebody's going to pay $25,000 to find this, chances are he's taking really good care of himself. He has to pass the show-up test before I'll let him pay me, because I have to see, can I get a girl to say yes?
Okay.
And it would be dishonest to take his money if he is somebody that I think a girl is going to say no for. One girl went out on a date with my client, and they went to Zinc Bistro at Kierland, and she said, Roseann, the refreshing thing about going out with guys that you set me up with is I don't have to hide them in the closet. And I said, what do you mean? She says, well, she went through another service, and the guys were not, she was not attracted to them. Yeah, and that's almost judgmental, but you should be. We've got a 53% divorce rate in the country. We should be a lot more selective.
Yeah, you should be attracted to the person.
Yes,
this is
somebody.
Time with.
It's different than hiring somebody. This is somebody you're going to wake up with in the morning and hopefully look over at and just adore.
Yes,
and be adored.
There you go. Somebody said, so people are watching live. Samantha Battles just commented. She said that is an amazing success rate. So I do want to go back to that, and I don't know if you know Rhonda LaPresti. She said, bringing lovers together.
Hi,
what
Rhonda.
a great show! What a great show for this special day. Happy Valentine's Day to you, Roseann.
Happy Valentine's Day, Rhonda.
Thank you for watching, Rhonda, Sam, Jesse.
Thank you
Fatty.
all. Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about. We talked about the women a little bit, so let's talk about the men. So when they hire you, actually, let's go back. Women go into your database At no charge.
They're on the available list.
Available
the A
list.
Yes.
There you go. The A list. Perfect. So men, they are the ones who come to you and they hire you. Can you tell us about that process?
Sure. For instance, the guy who gave me this plaque, he was super picky, and he said, Roseann, I have no trouble getting dates. And he was sent to me by a guy he roomed with in college, and he's athletic. He's over 6 foot. He's like 6'2" or 6'3", and he has 11% body fat. I don't know why I remember that, but he was very proud of it because he worked his butt off and got his butt kicked by his trainer. And he was nice, and he was sharp, and he wanted to help me grow my business. And sat with me and gave me marketing ideas. He's a single dad. His daughter means the world to him. There's a great story about that. I actually met her while I was hiking and tried to recruit her, not knowing that this was my client's daughter. And she's beautiful and 22. And I said, "Are you Christian?" Because I have a 26-year-old who's Christian. And she looked like Wonder Woman. She ran into a photo I was taking.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just like, okay, I'll take another one after she's gone by. But then I'm like, man, she's pretty. And at the bottom of the hill, we got to talking, and I said, "Are you single?" And she said, "Yes." I said, "Are you Christian?" She said, "Yes, I've got a tattoo. I won't tell you it just in case she's the only one in Phoenix with that tattoo." But it's a Christian-related tattoo. And I said, "I would love to know more about you and see if you're a great match for one of my guys." That's how it really happens. And she's like, "Wait a minute, who are you? Do you know so-and-so?" We'll call him Tom Jones. And I said, "Well, yes, I do." She said, "Did you introduce him to?" And I said, "Maybe." What did they say? Because I'm confidential about who I'm working with. So this guy, he saw me networking at the Boys and Girls Club wine taste at the Scottsdale waterfront. I've been a sponsor and an attendee there I've been in business 25 years, so nearly every year I've had booths at it. It's a great recruiting spot. It's a great place for you to go if you're single. So mark it on your calendars. It's coming up soon. It's called The Taste. The Taste, guys. It's the second best place all year to find someone. The first is the Phoenix Open.
They have so many great events at the Scottsdale waterfront.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. And I'm looking at hosting an event there. Invitation only. So when he saw me approach girls that he'd like to date, he says, "What about that one?" I said, "I'll be right back." And I would just go right up to her. One girl had the most amazing laugh and smile. You could feel her soul. And she was a little hottie, and she had a wedding ring on. But hotties, they know other hotties. And she gave this older woman a big, genuine hug. And I'm like, this guy is saying, why are you going up to her? I said, "Because birds of a feather." And so I told her that. I said, "I just love how you hugged that woman." And she says, "Us goddesses got to roll together." And so she wanted to send me her friends.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
So,
but how did he end up hiring you?
The process.
Yeah.
Well, he learned about what I do. He thought about it for a month. But when he saw me in action there, he's like, "Okay, let's do it. Let's see how this works." I had 40 women to show him, but we narrowed it down to his top 3. One was a newscaster that he never met. One was, she was, had her like MD, but he didn't need a girl with an MD, but she was just beautiful, stylish, really fit, into tennis. But the girl that was number 1 is a sweetheart. They're both single parents, and they both had an odd thing in common. They both were really close to their ex's parents. They stayed close in the divorce for the sake of their children because they were still their children's grandparents. And he said, "I take my ex-mother-in-law to Sunday brunch on Mother's Day." And she's like, "Wow, that's unusual." And to have that shared value is, you can't make that stuff
That's
up.
very unique.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's always something, or more than one thing, that's crazy unique and wonderful when I'm introducing. Like right now, I have a couple that I just introduced, and he's calling her today for the first time. And they have just like a million things that line up. And that's not easy. That's why the dating apps are so tough. And the girls that the guys want, 2,000 guys have hit on her today. And the girls get crazy scared, and they jump off of there.
This is very true. So, okay, so they come to you. Do you have an interview process or a screening process or
Yes.
a background check?
First, I do a very long phone call if a guy is thinking of hiring me, and he gets the truth. Like the guy who had only dated gold diggers, I told him that I couldn't feel his heart. I normally can feel someone's heart. If they're ready to pick up the phone and hire me, they are open-hearted. they are receptive to somebody helping them in the most important decision in their life.
Okay.
And even though this decision made sense, his assistant called for him. And this could tip you off. His male assistant calls me and he says, I want to come in and do the interview for him. And I said, it doesn't work like that. And if this isn't important enough to your boss to call me personally, I can't help him. He says, well, we'll just go to another service. I said, knock yourself out, buddy, but I'm the best. And he's like, oh. He didn't tell me till later that he'd already sent me somebody who got married. Okay. So his boss does do the interview, and he goes to Europe for the summer, comes back, and he's a changed man. I told him that his ex looked like she was evil when he showed me her picture. She wasn't smiling. I'm like, who gives you a picture to take around in your wallet where you're not smiling? She looked like the DKNY model, but not as evil hot. And like in Thomas Crown Affair, the plagiarist, the plagiarist, what do you call the artist? Forger. Yeah, that girl is like evil hot. Okay. And but she just looked plain evil. And I said, if I met her anywhere, she doesn't feel warm, she's not smiling, I would never ever recruit her. And he said that he loved her, and but then she stole from him, and he found I was right. And I was willing to tell him that before he spent money on me. Because if you can see that I'm going to make an accurate assessment of somebody that you might spend your life with and maybe not divorce, hopefully not divorce, I mean, because the divorce rate's so high, I want to change your outcome so that it's somebody who cherishes you for you.
Yeah.
And so this is a new frontier for him. And he says, everybody uses me. Why should I trust you? And I said, I could let that hurt, but, take that knife out of my side. But I said, I'm from the Midwest, where I learned if you tell one lie, your family knows by noon. My parents asked me one day if I had been riding out in Mayfair. Mayfair seemed like it was so far away when you're a kid, and it was like 2 miles, I learned when I grew up. But I was on a bicycle. It was like my freedom. And my parents said, were you riding out there? I'm like, no. And you were seen out there. And I'm like, oh. So I learned the consequences of that early on. And then in the Navy, honor and integrity are part of our core values. And I also know that every single date I introduce, my reputation is on the line.
Yeah.
You are going to see each other, and I want you to know that everything I told you is true.
Yeah.
And that I really listened to what you said you wanted.
Yeah.
And I listened to what you said you didn't want, and I protected you, and I'm protecting your heart, and I'm hopefully giving you the gift like never before, and you get to see together. It should just flow naturally, and you get to step into whatever the future brings.
Okay. And so you had that conversation with him, and then what's next step?
Can you tell I get too excited?
I know.
Let me see. So I have this conversation.
That's okay.
We have this conversation. We make sure, they can afford it. I ask them how much money they make. I want to make sure it's a good decision for them. I make sure that they're patient, because they may be they're super driven in business, and this is a decision for the rest of your life. And I tell every single person that hires me, only hire me if you're patient. I'm just not throwing dates at you that are willy-nilly. I'm trying to make sure you know that we're in this together, and we're on a mission to get everything you want.
Yeah.
And I'm making sure, like, I've learned atheists are really hard. It's hard to find somebody who wants to date an atheist.
Okay.
I'll tell you that before we do anything together. If you're an atheist and you're a guy, I would probably wait until I had a girl that was really at the top of the charts who said I'm okay with that before I'd let him hire me. Even if he were the perfect guy in looks, in values, he could be a great guy. He just doesn't believe in God, and maybe something really bad happened to him that's given him that reason, and he believes in being good on earth no matter his belief. It's probably doable, but it's important. So we have this vetting conversation. We get to a 2-hour interview, and I have a 4-page questionnaire. I learn everything about who you are, what you want, what you don't want, what do you do for fun, how have you lived your life, what's your educational background, what do you want children, do you have children, what's your custody, education, what makes you happy, what's your favorite things to do. I find out way more. One guy wrote this review. We've got some fake reviews on Yelp, by the way, in case anybody goes there and goes, what? And Yelp won't take them down. And it's really it's really been hurtful to see.
Yelp is rough.
No.
It's hard dealing with Yelp, so I get it.
Yeah, they tried to solicit me for advertising a few years ago, and 5 of my 5-star reviews got hidden.
Yeah, mine too. I have several that have been hidden.
Well, yeah. I love what Yelp is trying to do, so I'm not trying to bash them.
Yeah.
I just wish that they would serve with. They would have more integrity, like if they could find out. I said, find out the IP of who wrote this, because this doesn't describe how we do it. I don't have a $5,000 service, and let's deal with it honestly.
Wow.
And so anyway, back off of that.
Yeah.
Google reviews. We like Google.
Good.
Yes. And LinkedIn. And the Better
LinkedIn.
Business Bureau. I'm an Ethics Award finalist for the Better Business
Oh,
Bureau.
there you go.
And I just went to them recently, and they gave me such great help on something that I wanted to find out in something we were involved in. And they are there to support you. So I'm a champion of the Better Business Bureau.
Good. Good,
Yeah.
good.
So back to so we get to the end of the interview in person, and it's basically I have a interview fee, $500.
Okay.
It's walk away money. Basically, you can walk away if we find at the end of this we don't like each other, or something just makes it newly impossible for me. Because I've seen pictures of you. If you're not smiling with your teeth, I make you send me a picture with your teeth, because girls have to imagine they can kiss that.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's online. If a guy posts pictures online and he doesn't have pictures of his teeth, there's something wrong. Even a girl.
Yeah.
And so I want to see that you have straight white teeth on behalf of all womankind, and that you really know how to smile.
Yeah.
And so if everything goes well, you hire me then, and the next week usually I have you, unless I think of them right then. Sometimes I had one guy, no more than one, but one guy came to my front door to deliver pictures back in the day when we didn't send pictures by email, and there were those days. And he was delivering them, and he had this sexy Austrian accent, and he would say, "Oh, Roseann, that's fabulous." And I knew the girl sitting in my living room was somebody he'd want to date, because he loved vivacious bombshells, and she's just never not on fire. And I'm just trying to block the view. Here's this hunky, muscular guy with spiked hair at my front door that owns a company, has a need for speed, loves cars. She actually works with cars, and I'm just like, no, I don't want it to happen this soon. I want you to give me a chance to tell you about each other before you go for it. Yeah. So they did fall in love, and so you start looking at possibles. I do a lineup, and one guy said this lineup is better than an NBA All-Star team.
So can we go back for just a second? So you do the phone interview. The next step is the lineup, or the consultation, in-person consultation.
Yeah.
And then
and with
after
the questionnaire.
Yes.
And I find out everything about you and what you're looking for and what I can tell a girl about you and how you feel. I make lots of observations and go by my intuition about whether this is somebody. See, if I don't enjoy them when they get to me, I'm not going to enjoy them 6 months from now. And I'd rather not have the money than have a really dark client.
Yeah.
Yeah. I learned a long time ago from a dentist who was really critical, and it wasn't about me. It's something about whoever he was.
Yeah.
And he said, "Roseann, that was an off day. I promise never to be critical again." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll give it to you. If you promise, if you promise." And I should have gone with my intuition. Yeah. Dark stays dark.
I was going to say, you want to have a good time at work, and you want to feel good about the people that you're working with. So
And
if you feel that
if
sign,
he's that way with me, what's
that
he going
way
to do
with
to you?
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually a really good point, because when I was telling everybody about this interview, they said, well, how do you know the guy is not abusive? How do you know, how does she screen to make sure that they're not men who are angry, and then you may set them up on a date and they'll, violently attack the woman?
I used to do background checks, but I don't know that all that would even come out in a background check. I'm sorry, I need some water.
That's okay.
And the type of guy, it would be on the record. I ask if you've been convicted of a felony. One guy told me, felony or misdemeanor? And I'm just like, oh, I think you've just admitted to one of them, haven't you? And I told him I needed to think about it. And if I say I need to think about it, the answer is pretty much no, because he had been convicted of something a long time ago that wouldn't have come up in a background check. Yeah, because they only go back, I think, 7 years in the one city you check.
Yeah.
So if somebody's willing to go under my microscope, they have, knock on wood, for 25 years, been good guys that you want to stay married to.
There you go. Okay, so then you get to a place where you do a lineup. So they've come in for the consultation, they've done their questionnaire.
And then we rank order them. Who do you like the most?
Yes.
Who do you like the second most? Who do you like the third most? And I call number one. Because one guy said, why would I want to meet number 3 if number 1 has everything I'm looking for? But sometimes we'll be going through it and they'll keep on going back to this one, whatever it is. And I pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps me kind of provide a template of what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Because I may have forgotten somebody because they go, Roseann, I really like this about her. I'm like, ooh, wait a minute. I know this other girl.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. And so how often do they find a match during the first lineup?
Well, I don't know if I have a how often fact.
Okay.
I know that 74 have fallen in love with the very first one.
Okay.
So I do track that.
Okay.
And over 50% fall in love with one of the first 3. Because why would it take us 20 matches if we're really paying attention? Why would it take us 10?
Yeah, I always say the same thing about real estate. So, for example, we're out there, we're looking at homes, we know what's on the market. I'm not going to take you into a home that I know you won't love.
Yeah.
So, the likelihood of you finding the first one is high. That's not a bad thing. That's a great thing.
Do you do a ton of screening?
Yeah. Well, we ask a lot of questions up front.
Yeah.
So we do a buyer consultation. We ask a lot of questions so that way once we are looking at properties, we're only looking at the best ones that'll fit that family or that person. Or,
so you're a matchmaker too.
A house matchmaker.
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you pointed out to this plaque a couple of times, so I want to make sure. So for those of you that are watching on video, I'm going to hold it up for the camera. You can see it here. But I'll read it for those of you that can't see it or are listening on iTunes. So it says 71. So this number represents the man.
The number of people who have fallen in love with their very first introduction.
Yes, first introduction. So he was number 71.
Yes.
He fell in love with their number 1 choice from the largest handpicked database of beautiful single women in Arizona and beyond. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
The fact that he went all out and got you this plaque says a lot. Did he write you that card too?
Yeah, I could read it. I would let you, but I don't want you to see
go for
names.
Yeah, go for it.
Or say them and I'm like, oh, we can't take that back. It says gratitude on the front. Thank you very much. And he got me this less than a week after their first date.
Okay.
I mean, my guys, they're ready for love.
Yeah.
They're ready for the real thing. And, just because he said it, I'm not going to hold his feet to the fire and make him stay with her. I want him to know in his heart, and I want her to be as madly in love with him as he is with her. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't have held him to this, but it really is amazing that he knew. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the people I introduced, they know. And they think that they're going to surprise me. One couple sat on my sofa 2 weeks after they met, and they said, we have something to tell you. And I said, what? They're so serious. And they said, we're soulmates. I'm like, okay. They said, we're so glad we found each other. I said, what do you mean you found each other? And they're like, oh, that's right, Roseann, you found. So back to this card from this awesome guy. Roseann, what can I say? You're the real deal. You create magic. You're a magician. I'm so very grateful that you brought her into my life. Without you, we'd have been 2 ships that passed in the night. Instead, you introduced us on the first week, and our first week together has been truly magical. More amazing than I could have even imagined. I asked you to help me find the love of my life. I told you I would know in my heart when I found her. Well, you delivered. In fact, it's time to update your site. You've now got a fan for life. With much appreciation. And his name, number 71.
That's so sweet.
It's like a football number.
That is
number
a football
71.
Number. How sweet. And how long ago was this?
They just got engaged in November.
Wow.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So congratulations on that. That's a good feeling.
Oh, yes. I just had a couple have their first baby. They're starting a family.
Wow.
Yes. I was at their wedding. The priest said my name twice. He wanted to interview me because he called me up one day and he said, I've never seen a couple so fully desire each other, and I've married hundreds of couples.
Oh, wow.
Would you mind if I interviewed you? Mm-hmm. And he didn't tell me he was going to mention my name twice. I almost felt like it was a commercial. It's like, how do I feel about that? Guilty. I felt a little guilty because I grew up Catholic. It's a guilt thing. Yeah. And they didn't want their first date to end. They were at Banderas and they closed it down, and they said, what do we do? And they went around the corner to a hookah pipe place.
Okay.
And I'm like, you got him to go to a hookah pipe place? She's Lebanese and gorgeous, and she's so fun, and they're in love with their firstborn.
There you go.
And so is the dog. Dog lays right next to her.
How sweet is that?
I know, right?
That's exciting.
And so I'm going to take pictures every year because they want to have 3 to 5 kids, depending on how many she can. He says how many she can have by the time she's 40.
Okay.
Yeah, and she said that he makes her tingle from her head to her toes.
Aw, how sweet is that?
Yeah, and she hopes it lasts for the rest of her life.
Aw.
And they both don't believe in divorce. They both were raised Catholic. Both went to Jesuit schools. Both lived in Spain. Both have moms from Chicago. Both have moms who help them decorate their living rooms. They're both super close to their families. I've met both sides of the family. One of them has another child they want me to match.
Are you for real?
Oh yeah,
That's
you
so
got
funny.
to introduce his sister. And I'm like, hey, you know how to find me, obviously.
That is so funny. So that's amazing. So they go out.
I get date feedback to make
Yeah.
sure, am I on target? Am I not on target? How
Yeah.
did we miss? How can we improve? Or do you want to see her again? The girl in Canada, I have her getting a driver's license because it will be very helpful for their relationship when she's down here because her mom drove her to meet me. I need her to be able to be independent and drive to meet him and pick him up from the airport.
And see, that's a good point because a lot of ladies asked me that question. They said, do you only match people that are here in Arizona locally?
My clients are predominantly here in Arizona.
Okay.
I have a guy in Denver who flies in here, does business here in the big business industry, and I've had guys in Beaverton and Del Mar and L.A. But predominantly they're here because most of the beautiful women that I'm out meeting are going to be here.
Yeah.
But I did approach Heather from The Bachelor before she became on The Bachelor.
You did?
For one of my clients, and I saw her at the Hollywood Improv
Wow.
because I was going to school in Santa Monica, at University of Santa Monica once a month, and
Okay.
I wanted to meet Ben Higgins from The Bachelor, and she was in the audience, and I'm just like, she's stunning. I need to go meet her. So I did, and she was just beautiful, and my guy was looking for a Christian girl, and I said, I have to ask you a question. Are you Christian? She says, actually, I just graduated from Biola. I said, what's Biola? She said, Bible Institute of Los Angeles. You knew that?
Yeah, I do.
How do you know that?
Just because I talk and meet with a lot of people. That's
me
the
too,
only
but
reason.
I hadn't had that
Yep.
come up. And I'm just like, yeah, yeah. And she's just a beautiful soul.
But you didn't match her.
That's private.
Oh, okay. No, I'm
but
sorry.
she's recruitable at the time. And
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was,
I guess I meant
I did-
she went on The Bachelor. That's what I was thinking.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, that's
I
good.
wonder if that affected her decision, though, on not to
go on.
Yeah, well, not to go on, about pursuing a relationship right away with that maybe coming
Yeah.
up. She never told me she was going to be on it. And then when I saw her on the first episode, I'm like, what?
You never know.
Makes me look good.
Is that one of your favorite shows?
No, but I watch it with a girl that I introduced her husband, and it's been our 16-year Monday night gathering.
There you go.
No matter the season, even if we don't really like the Bachelor selection,
Yeah.
sometimes they've made some unusual decisions.
Excuse me. Sorry. Spring allergies in
I
January.
don't hear it.
I feel it, and so I just keep having to clear my throat. Sorry. Okay, so how long does it normally take you to match someone? Not that
it's
they're in a
not
hurry,
a-
because you're looking for them. You're looking for patience.
Every single one is different. One guy who was super smart, and he wanted a girl who was smart. I said, what type of person would your friend say you'd be best with? And this was 20 years ago, 16 years ago. He says, my friends think I should be with a librarian. and I thought that was so adorable. And he was being honest. He was a pharmacist with a CPA background.
Okay.
So very logical. He was
Yeah.
wearing OP shirts at the time, California kind of polo. And he owned a mobile home park. And I know a lot of Scottsdale girls would not, even though mobile home parks aren't what they used to be, they're a lot more of an asset now.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm from a small town. There has to be somebody in this town. He's a good-looking guy. He's fit. He's smart. He's nice. I'm sure there has to be a girl in this town that I could find for him. And I found her through her sister. Her sister called me for her. She was a teacher.
Okay.
And I would love to know more beautiful teachers. All you teachers that are listening, dial me up.
Holly.
And you can
know if
tell me
she's
about
watching.
her later. Hey, putting it out there because I want to find the good girls.
Yeah.
And she said she can't call you herself because I said, isn't this important enough to your sister to call? And she said, no, I'm calling for her, and I'm going to have her call you because I like you, and I want her to. So she did, and they were both quiet. And he wanted somebody quiet, which is really unusual because usually a quiet person doesn't want another quiet person.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but in their case, they did. I asked her after they met, what do two quiet people talk about? And she says, oh, we talk. And when I checked in on them, like 6 months later, how's it going? One of them said it's going rather well, and the other one said it's proceeding nicely. And I'm just like, no, it was perfect. It was perfect. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, and I said, what type of thing do you like to do for fun? She says, she looks up and she says, I like to go to libraries. And I'm just like,
that's funny.
And
that's what all of his friends said.
You should be with a librarian.
That is really interesting.
It's like crazy. I wish I could tell you the name of one of my couples because they're named after Greek gods. But I'll just leave it that they are both named after Greek gods.
That's so funny.
That wasn't why I introduced him. It just happened to be.
Yeah, it just happened.
One of the pluses. Like, of course.
I love it. So with the people that you work with, they find love and they're happy and they go on. Do you have a large referral business because of that?
One girl, I wish I could use their pictures. If I could use the picture of the couple that just got engaged, and I asked them again yesterday, and I will keep asking, because they are both just the most handsome couple on the planet, and they have so much fun together, and they travel everywhere together, and she Instagrams all about it, but not with my name.
Yeah.
She would, though,
yeah.
if he said yes. I get referrals, but they're referring me, like he's referring me to the man who owns his building.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a one-by-one, because it's a selective type of person who's single.
Yes.
And can afford it.
Yes.
And is serious about finding someone and isn't just playing. Because the guys with money that are just playing, they're going to the open and hanging out at the bird's nest and, whatever.
And if you thought that was the case, would you just say, no, I'm not interested in working with you?
I would say, what's changed?
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Are you really ready for this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you'd be doing a whole lot of work for no reason, right?
It's not about doing a whole lot of work for no reason. It'd be, why would I start something that has, all you're going to be doing is plowing through women. And if all you want to do is plow through women, go to the W.
And that's not good for the women.
No.
Right.
And I'm protective of them. Yeah.
So for the women that are interested in being introduced to you and they want to go into your A-list, what would they need to do?
They can text me their photos and introduce themselves.
Okay.
And my phone number is public information.
A photo with teeth, ladies.
and full length and close up.
Yep.
I show a lot of pictures because I want people to get to know each other.
So when you do the lineup, that's in person. That's not.
No, the lineup is not me having a cattle call. No, it's me showing the photos.
Pictures. Okay.
Yeah. Because imagine The Bachelor. He's got 30 women there, and only one makes the
Yeah.
So you've got 29 walking away. How does that feel? You
Horrible.
watch them. That's a big drama that they create on the show. And I'm doing all the vetting so that your top 3, your top 5. One guy said, Roseann, I would go out with any one of them. I said, well, you kind of need to give me a little bit more guidance.
Yeah. So, and how many do you normally put in front of? Did you say up to 20 at one time?
It can be 5, it can be 20, it could be 40. One guy, I called him, I thought about him yesterday. He's the only one who stiffed me on a finder's fee. And he never told me that he married the first girl. I introduced him to her 3 days after he hired me, called him with another girl a month later. He says, I'll no longer be needing your services. And I found out from a girl who's girlfriends with the girl I introduced him to. The girl I introduced him to was a beautiful PhD. And I really couldn't believe that she would lie to me and never tell me. So it's a fluke, though, because every person, I've been told I should charge $50,000 as a finder's fee because I'm saving these guys millions of dollars. This guy at this breakfast meeting from a really great benefits company, he said he saved his clients over $560,000, I think, in the last 2 years. And I'm like, I have saved my clients millions and millions of dollars in divorce. And I've created an economic impact on the Arizona economy by having them have weddings here and all these dates here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the gifts that they give to each other and the homes that they build together. And
there you go.
Yeah.
So you would say... I just lost my train of thought like a crazy woman because you said, as soon as you said gifts, all I could think about was, I need a new pair of AirPods. So I keep saying that. So I like the Apple AirPods, the ones that are wireless. but I have a pair that I use at work, but I need one more pair at home, but I refuse to buy. I know this is way off track.
They're wireless? How much are they?
They're not that much, but I refuse to buy it twice for
totally
myself.
Get it. I totally get it.
It's so weird, but I refuse to buy it twice. So I would
think
need a
I can
gift
hook you up.
for it. No.
Yeah.
No. But
For
I
all the
always say
exposure
that.
you gave me, that would be the least I could do.
I always say that to people, and so it's funny. So as soon
Just
as you
manifest
said,
it.
So as soon as you said gifts, that's the first thing that I thought
you
of.
just
How
give me your
horrible
little
is
mailing
that?
address after we're done.
How terrible is that? But no, when the women, they go into your database, do they complete a questionnaire like you have the men complete?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. That makes sense.
And the young ones who are doing the dating apps, they don't understand it until they start getting really serious about finding love. And they start, because on Tinder or whatever, you put maybe 4 lines of information and you can swipe and go on a date. And then, a year later, you're still single, maybe, 2 years, 3 years. And or you get disappointed, whatever it is that leaves you still single, and you're just like, I want a better way. Well, if I'm going to be really good at making a match, I have to know a lot about you. I have to know your heart. I have to. And this girl that just came in yesterday, she went snowboarding in Flagstaff this weekend. She's got a body to die for. She looked at my protein bars when I offered her one, and she says, "This has 20 grams of cane sugar in it." And I'm just like, and that's bad? Okay.
She's like, nope,
right,
not
tell
for
me
me.
what the good bar is. But I love the wisdom, the expertise, the world travels. I now know what the top of Kilimanjaro and Machu Picchu look like, thanks to the people that I introduce.
That sounds amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
And I get to learn through them, and I get to, I got off the phone telling her all about the guy that was going to be calling her today. And I said, I got to get back to work. I said, oh, that's right, I was working. And she's like, yeah, I love your job. And I'm like, me too.
That is so fun. And that's awesome that they get to do that, and they get to work with somebody that actually does have their best interest at heart. You're looking to set them up with somebody that's going to hopefully make them happy, because you're doing all the screening up front, and you're not just sending them jerks who are looking to
And I'm constantly
go from woman to woman
vigilant.
to woman to woman.
I want to hear, how did you like that guy? How did you like that girl? What worked? What didn't work? What did it feel like? I don't know. I was going to say, I've been thinking about, before the show started, you said you had listeners who might be looking for advice on love.
That was going to be my next question.
Because I want to make sure I'm not just talking about my company and the results. I want to help people.
My question was, what would you say is the number one mistake people make when they're dating that prevents them from
dating
finding
the wrong
love?
one and keep I've heard stories of women who keep dating hotties. And, KTAR interviewed me a long time ago for a very short story about do ugly men make better husbands? And there'd been a survey by Stanford or study. And I said, I don't think that gives them the edge on being a better husband. But I do believe that the narcissists, the guys that are triple hot, may have to get kicked to the curb a few times before they develop into good partners. Yeah. Because they haven't had to work for it. Just like beautiful women sometimes can be the same. And I don't need those girls. Guys can find them for free and divorce them for a lot of money. So I like how that sounded.
It does.
It's like a soundbite. And I'm super protective of that. One girl told me at the Merck Bar at a charity event a long time ago, a man's got to make at least $250,000 for me to date him. And I'm just looking at her, and her worth just became less than zero. Yeah. I do not need her. And she was not somebody I would have been wanting to recruit anyway. Yeah. But that made her even less attractive. And I was just like, you know what? Good luck.
Well, because part of your job is to hopefully screen.
I want love.
You're not looking for gold diggers.
I want you to tell me I want to fall in love because I'm going to be the best woman that man has ever dated. I'm going to be so good to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. So they date the wrong guys.
They date the wrong guys. They keep on going. They have the same patterns. Yeah. So they keep on going back to what they know because they get the immediate flooding of positive endorphins because I got yeses and I know this territory. Even though she's psycho, she's hot, and I just know that she'll go out with me, and and we get to do the hot sex crazy stuff, and and then you break up because she's a little bit too volatile with the vases.
Wow. So what would you say it takes for them to break those habits?
The last straw.
Okay.
Something that breaks, that just finally gives them a checkup where they just go, you know what? Enough. I deserve more.
Mm-hmm. And do you think there's a way for them to break those habits before they get to the last straw?
I think that we grow, and nobody has to get to a last straw. I think they were Hope Springs. All the Hollywood movies that end with happily ever after are what we're all deep down, even if they're too, like The Notebook is showing it Harkins. Love Dan Harkins. And I love my movie cups. Keep them coming. And they're showing that, and it's just beautiful. It was magical. Magical love. But what was the question? What did I lose?
Meaning, let's say, for example, they are looking to break a habit. They know they date a certain kind of guy. That's their type, probably.
Yeah.
But they know it's not the right thing, even though they keep doing it. Before they get to a place that breaks them, what would you recommend they do to change those habits?
Sit down with no distractions and write down, if I could have anything in my life, what would I want that to be? What do I want her to be like? How do I want her to treat me? How do I want to be treated? What do I have to offer? What makes me a great guy that this woman is going to madly fall in love with me? How am I going to be a great husband? What's a great wife going to be like in the rest of my life? And stop using anything other than your heart and your head when you make your future decisions. When you meet somebody, you make sure that when you are looking at someone, that you are looking at everything about them and not getting married with rose-colored glasses. I'm writing a book about that. And,
oh, really?
Yeah. And I've had many people tell me that they knew at the wedding that they should not have married before they came to me. And they went through with it because everybody had flown in. One girl told me that upstairs after the wedding, her husband looked at her and said, "Congratulations, you've officially become a permanent fixture on my tax return." And yeah, and I'm just like, ouch. Ow, yeah. And they did divorce, but she said, "I should have known, Roseann. There was a pit in my stomach when he said that." Who says that on the day you most love your wife?
That's rough.
But then another guy called me one day to try to hire me, and I could hear the pain in his voice, and he was going through a divorce. And I said, "It sounds like you don't want this divorce." And he says, "I don't." And I said, "Then I think you might want to think back to the day you married her. There were 10,000 reasons you loved her. It's not easy to find another girl who makes you feel that way.
Yeah.
And I think you should give it everything you've got to make this woman see why she married you the day she married you. And don't call me until you've done that, because then you won't have your heart in full ready for somebody else."
True.
Until you know. And I never heard from him again.
That's a good thing. That's one of the best no callbacks you could ever get, ever expect to receive.
Doing things for the right reason.
That's awesome. I like that. So before we wrap up, what is one thing you would want to leave our watchers and listeners with in regards to love on this Valentine's Day?
I would say stop everything that's not important, that doesn't bring you happiness, and really think about who you are and what you want, and make it a point to let people know around you, I am ready for the love of my life, and I'm looking for a guy like this, or I'm looking for a girl like this. You can call me or send me an email, or it's better to text me.
Where should they call you or text you at?
You can text me at 602-241-1800. Men can call me at that number. It's easier for women to send me photos first and tell me about themselves a little bit, because I have so much to do.
Yeah.
And men are proactive. They just want to pick up the phone and know what to call. So 602-241-1800. My website's especiallyselective.com, and you put ROSEANN right before that, at especiallyselective.com, and that will go to me. But you might want to text me. You emailed me, because I have over 100,000 emails in my inbox, and I'm trying to get through them.
She does answer her phone, you guys. That's how I found Roseann, because she answered her phone. A lot of people do not. So
it matters because, if you've been thinking about hiring a matchmaker, one CEO said, my assistant put this article about you in my drawer. And I would keep pulling it out keep pulling it out. And one day I'm like, okay, I'm going to call her. Yeah. So I answered. If it takes you 2 years to do that moment you get my live voice on the phone and we have a human conversation, an honest one about whether I can do this for you, because I'll be honest. A guy who was 63 recently called me and he wanted to date a girl who could still have children. And I'm just like, yeah, you're going to have to do that one on your own. It's not
rough.
Not in my gift area.
Yeah.
Not especially, I saw his photos and I knew that he was not in. Girls don't want to date somebody older than their father.
Yeah.
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 That's one of my things I say.
Yeah, and then have baby. That's a whole nother thing, in my opinion. You have to
see them without their clothes on.
And can you interact with the kids? That's the big thing.
Are they going to live long enough?
Yeah, that's a bigger thing to me. Well, no, maybe not. Seeing with the clothes off is important too.
I shouldn't have said this on the television.
I know, but it's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. All right. Well, you guys have Roxanne's phone. Oh my gosh, I did
Roxanne. We were talking about that before.
I'm so sorry.
Love the song.
You have Roseann's number. She just gave it to you guys. It's also on the screen and it's also in our graphic. And I'll repost it again just in case you guys do have questions. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
I have no idea how long we've talked, but I really loved all of it. Every single minute, Tia Moore.
It goes by fast when you're having a good time. So you guys, you can see it if you're watching. Roseann brought me these beautiful roses, and she's brought these great balloons and mini beignets and a card. How sweet is that, right? And then she said she's going to send me some AirPods. I don't know. I don't want her to.
Thanks for the reminder, just in case.
But that's going to be awesome. But you guys, thank you so much for those of you who are watching live. If you listen to this later on iTunes, thank you so much for listening and to our show. If you enjoyed watching it, please share it with a friend. Please make sure you subscribe to our iTunes channel and leave us a comment as well and let us know what you like about the show. When we do post a show comment, your contact information will be in there so people can quickly find you. Thanks again to our partners that make our podcast possible each and every week. Thank you to the Oliver Whalen team at Nova Home Loans. Again, you guys, if you're ready to buy a home, you're thinking about it for within the next year or so, give these guys a call. It's never too early to call them. And then also thanks so much to Yvonne Hunter with Platinum Home Warranty for doing such a great job with our clients and answering questions at any time. They're more of a concierge service, even if you don't have a home warranty question. If it's just something about getting a referral for a trade, she's a good resource for that as well. And to Security Title for always making sure that our clients can close on homes that are lien free. So that's always a good thing. And as usual, I am a realtor with the NextView Home Professionals. Our team is ready, willing, and able to assist you with all of your home buying and selling needs. Give us a phone call and visit our website at nextviewre.com or give us a call at 480-281-3078. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys next week with Cryo World Therapy. That's going to be our guest for next week. So have a good week, guys.